in the previous class, we have seen verse number 53 and 54. Let us recite 53 and 54. Then we will get to the today's topic. Upadhi vilayad Vishnau nirvishesham vishen munihi jale jalam vyad vyomni tejas tejasiva yatha. उपाधि विलयाद विष्णु निर्विशेषं विषेन्मुनि जले जलम वियद्व्योम्नि तेजसी वा यथा. Now we go to the 54. All of you can be chanting in your mind also. यल्लाभान्न परो लाभः यत्सुखान्न परं सुखम् यज्ञानान्न परं ज्ञानम् तद्ब्रह्मेति अवधारयेत्. यल्लाभान्न परो लाभः यत्सुखान्न परं सुखम् यज्ञानान्न परं ज्ञानम् तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्. Now let us go to the today's verse. It's a continuation of 54. यद्दृष्ट्वा न अपरं दृश्यं यद्भूत्वा न पुनर्भवः यज्ञात्वा न अपरं ज्ञेयं तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्. Very profound verses, both of them. And let us read those, study those things. Okay? Yat drushtva, having seen, na aparam drushyam, there is nothing else to be seen. Yat bhutva, attaining to this jnana, atma jnana, na punarbhavaha, there is no question of rebirth. Bhava is birth, na punarbhavaha, no rebirth. Yat jnatva, knowing which, na aparam jnayam, there is no other object or any knowledge to be known. Tat, that one, Brahma iti, that is Brahma, avadharayet. You resolve and you firmly decide. Yadrishtva na aparam drishyam yadbhutva na punarbhavaha यज्ञात्वा न अपरं ज्ञेयं तद्ब्रह्मेति अवधारयेत्. Realizing that to be Brahman, avatharayet, realize that as the Brahman. What is that? Which when seen means understood. Seen means not with the physical seeing. That which is understood and contemplated leaves nothing else to be understood. Na parandrishyam, there's no other thing to be seen. Having seen this, seen here doesn't mean the physical eye and seeing. It is the internal eye that sees, with which, having become one, yadbhutva, when you merge with one, when you become one with that, na punarbhavaha, no question of rebirth, not born again in the world. Janma rahitya, there is no more birth and death cycle. Yajñatva, knowing what leaves nothing else to be known. Na param jneyam yajñatva, that is Brahman. avatharayet. Pay attention and resolve this concept and resolve into that. Yad drishtva, having seen which, na aparam, no other thing, drishyam, to be seen. Yad bhutva, having become one with what? With that, na punarbhavaha, that means no rebirth, not born again. Yad jnatva, having known which, na aparam jneyam, no other thing to be known. Wonderful. See, if you are in the Atma Jnana, there is no struggle. There is nothing else to see, nothing else to know, nothing else to envision, and there is no question of coming back with all these bodily problems once again. Iti, thus, avatharayet, realize. This is the continuation of the previous karika, previous mantra. What is that? यल्लाभान्न अपरं लाभं यत्सुखान् न अपरं सुखं यज्ञानान् न अपरं ज्ञानं तद्ब्रह्मेति अवधारयेत्. What is this slokam? यद्दृष्ट्वा न अपरं दृश्यं यद्भूत्वा न पुनर्भवः यज्ञात्वा न अपरं ज्ञेयं tat. Yat, tat, reflexive pronoun. Whenever you have yat, you will have tat. Whenever you have yaha, you will have saha. It is a reflexive pronoun. That, knowing which, that tad brahma iti avatharayet, realize. Yad drishtva aparam drishyam vartate. There is no other object to be known or anything to be seen. Yad drishtva aparam drishyam asti. Having seen which? Seeing here is what? Jnanena darshanam. This is knowing with the jnana. Here, jnanat, drishtvat, both are same almost. The only difference is in the previous sloka, in terms of the jnanam, the pursuit itself. In this sloka, it is in terms of the end of that pursuit. Jnanam was uttamam, yad jnanan naparam jnanam in the previous sloka. Naparam jnanam means this is the niratisaya jnanam, superlative jnanam, uttamam jnanam. Okay, in this sloka, jneyam is uttamam. Anything else you see is inferior to knowing Brahman. This is the substance, subtle difference. Yadristvana aparam drishyam vartate. There is no superior object to be known. Then again, yadbhutva, having become which Brahman, which na punarbhavaha. There is no further becoming. See, all our world is becoming only. I will show you how. Because in every other becoming, there is an intermediate stage. Okay? Man becomes an adult, then he craves to become a deva. From deva, he then becomes a prajapati. From the prajapati, he becomes a brihaspati. Then he becomes a Ishvara. They are always becoming only. And then comes back to the earth. Anything you become it will not be permanent. It will come back. Isn't it? Whatever you are, that will remain permanently. This process goes on. Okay? Kathopanishad, beautiful quotation is there. Sthanumanye anusamyanti yatha karma yatha sukham. So, depending on what you sow, you reap. Whatever you contemplate, you do in this birth, that will be, you will be that only. Sthana, you will become, if you contemplate that like a jada stone, you live like that, you become a jada stone later on. This process of becoming goes on. That is why it is called samsara. Samsara is samyak sarati iti samsara. The one perfectly recycles. Samyak sarati iti samsara. That is why samsara. This is called also called bhavaha. Bhavaha means in Sanskrit to become. To become what? So many things. In fact, every other pursuit in our life, our aim is we want to become something. Okay, very, very subtle thing that to be noted by all of us. We never are satisfied with what we are. We want to convert a bachelor myself into a husband myself by getting a woman married. So, superficially putting, we want a wife, but Vedantically putting, a bachelor I is not satisfied. So, he wants to become a husband I. After marriage, what happens? The I wants to become a father I. So he tries to get children. This father I wants to have a house. And so he becomes a householder I. Buys a house or rents a house. And thereafter, this I becomes a father-in-law I. Okay. Thereafter, he wants to become grandfather I. He joins as a junior officer. He wants to become mid-level officer. Then he will become senior level officer. Then he will become some vice president. Then something like that. This becoming only, you are chasing the becoming. You are never in the being. What Acharya says is this becoming is endless. You be in what you are. You are the being. You are the Atman. Thus remember, in all through our life pursuits, I am converting this I into so many things that with every I am not satisfied. I'm not satisfied. This is called bhava. Na punar bhava. There is no question of transforming the I into varieties of things. Na punar bhava. There is no question of I becoming any other thing. And this transformation will culminate where? Any relative thing will not be satisfying me. Then what will happen? This relativity should be converted into the absolute. That absolute is Brahma or Atma. Then what did he say, Acharya? Yad bhutva. Bhutva here means you have not become Brahman. You understood that you are the Brahman. Na punarbhavaha. There is no more becoming. You are already the being what you are. Yad bhutva na punarbhavaha. Okay. Now, Gita is saying what? Yatanto yoginaschainam pasyantya-atmanyavasthitam yatanto api akrutatmano nainam pashyanti achetasaha. Simple meaning is there are two types of people. One who are fulfilled, who are satisfied, they will be Brahman. The one who is not satisfied, akrutatma, yatanto hi akrutatmano, nainam pashyanti. They will not understand that being and always want to become. Yeah, they are engrossed in their pursuits of becoming something. Don't try and chase becoming. Just be being. The being is the Brahman. So, kritatmanaha means who are already fulfilled. There is no relative I in him. He has become absolute. Then where is the question of he becoming something else? So no punarbhava. He will not again come. That's the idea. Therefore, the culmination is becoming the absolute and not getting fixed and carried away by the relative things. So, jnanena yad brahma bhutva, yad jnanena brahma bhutva, na punarbhava. With what understanding, deeper understanding, and I know that I am the Brahman. There is no becoming anymore. Na punarbhava. Then, yat jnatva na param jnayam. Having known which, there is no further knowing at all. One can give many reasons. How do I reconcile this statement? If I am Brahman, then I don't have to know anything. What does that mean? Reason one is When I am Brahman, I am contented. I am totally satisfied, totally purna, totally fulfilled. Then where is the question of adding something to what is already full? Not required. So there is no other thing to be obtained. Jnaya object. So no, if I add this, I will become full. This already you are full. Imagine a pot which is full to the brim. Do you require another glass of water or a cup of water to fill it again? Not required. Yajñatva na param jnayam. This is one reason. Acharya probably thinks of these two reasons. The second reason is everything else is relative. What I am holding now is the absolute as the Brahman. Can a relative thing satisfy the absolute? All relative things are where? All relative things are in the absolute only. Absolute encompasses all the relative things. There is no question of having something other than the absolute which will fulfill or enhance the glory of what you already are. So, what we use the relative thing in Vedanta world, we call it as mithya. You are studying theory of relativity. Why did he not theory of absoluteness? Why did he not say? He said relativity. Your relatives have come. What is relative? This is the body. With your body is your brother-in-law. If you suppose Chan's body, who is brother-in-law? With your body, she is your wife. If you lose the concept of the body, who is wife? Kate Kanta, Kaste Putra, who is son, who is daughter. As long as the body ideation is there, all the relativity will come. Now, this is bigger. Bigger than what? There is something else which is smaller. So you call it as bigger. You still bring another bigger thing. Now this becomes smaller and that becomes bigger. Relative. Everything that you enjoy or experience in this world is only relative. The only absolute thing is you are the absolute. You are that. You are that Brahman. Tattvamasi. Tat Brahmatvamasi. You are the absolute. So Tat Brahma is fulfilled. Having been in the Brahma Bhava, having understood that you are Brahman, now param jnayam, there is no other relative. Jnaya is all relative. Jnaya is object. Object is always relative. Object will have dimension, object will have weight, object will have color, object will have texture. Persons will have all these attributes. Whatever there is an attribute, whenever there is an attribute, that is a relative attribute. Mr. Lakshman is a fair boy. He looks very fair. Bring another European next to him. Lakshman is a very dark boy. It's all relative, isn't it? Fulfillment is whenever you are fully filled, that is fulfilled as the Brahman. Where is the question of having something other than the Brahman as gain? That's what he says. Yad jnatva na aparam jnayam. So, we recap both the verses together. We have to read. Yallabhatna param jnanam, yad sukhanna param sukham, yad jnananna param jnanam, tad brahmetyavadharayat. Here in this verse, he is saying a continuation of that. Yad drustvana param drishyam, yad bhutvana punarpavaha, yad jnatvana param jnayam, tad brahmet iti avatarayet. This is the way you should resolve, you should reconcile, you should understand, you should firmly fix in your mind. Some more deeper understanding. Atma Bodha presents a culmination of spiritual journey by defining Brahman through three unique characters in this verse. That having seen which, nothing else remains to be seen. Having become which, there is no further becoming. Having known which, there is nothing else remains to be added to the new knowledge. So that is Brahman. This verse continues the teaching of the previous one. While verse 54 extolled the supremacy of the self-knowledge or the jnanam, verse 55 describes the unsurpassable nature of the object of that knowledge, that is the jnayam or the phala of that. Brahman himself, itself. So the emphasis has shifted from the path in 54 to in 55 to the destiny. Seeing Brahman ends all seeing. Expression yadrishtva na aparam drishyam does not refer to seeing Brahman as one sees a cow or a dog, not an external object. Seeing Brahman here is, Brahman is of course not an object of perception, but the very self itself, the witness of all experiences. Seeing here means self-realization, realizing one's own true nature. There is no other thing to be known. Yadrishtva na param drishyam. Once this vision arises, there remains nothing higher or more fulfilling or more deserving to attain. Every worldly pursuit is driven by the assumption that fulfillment lies elsewhere. I always have a pursuit. Why? Because if I get that, I will be fulfilled. So my fulfillment is elsewhere. It's not here. I get a Mercedes-Benz car, then I will be more fulfilled. That means fulfillment is outside and I am not fulfilled. If I get a Benz car not sufficient, then I have to get some other very expensive car or helicopter. Where is the end? Realization reveals that the seeker himself is sought. What are you seeking? You are seeking yourself. Because fulfillment you are, as an embodiment of fulfillment, what do you seek outside? There's nothing else to seek outside. Thus, all spiritual and worldly seeking naturally comes to an end. That's what he says. Yam drishtva, yad drishtva, na aparam drishyam. Then becoming Brahman ends all becoming. Why? Yad bhutva na punarbhavaha carries a profound psychological impact and metaphysical significance. In metaphysics, what we say, you have got this janma, then you will die, then you will get another janma. In this world, what you are doing, you are a bachelor, from bachelor to become husband, husband wants to become father, father wants to become householder, householder wants to become grandfather. Like that, it goes on and on. There is no end. You ask anybody, no, I am okay, but if I get that, I will be better off. Where is the question of better off? You are already the best off. There is no question of better. Every new identity promises fulfillment, but soon provides incomplete. You see, in your life, you have sought several things. You went after that pursuit, you got it for a while, maybe 1 day, 1 month, 15 days, 2 months. Then again, you are chasing something else. Like chasing the water in a mirage. There's no water there. You keep on chasing only. And the deer ultimately chases the water and exhausts and dies. That's what is happening to all of us. We are exhausted and meet our death. Why? Because we are always chasing a mirage. Vedanta points out that what truly seeks change is not the external circumstances, but the limited sense of I. When you think that you are a limited I, every pursuit attempts to convert one limited I into another limited I. One limited bachelor into another limited householder or married man. Since all such identities are relative, they are finite, they are changing, they are not independent, they are dissatisfaction to the core, inevitably the dissatisfaction persists. Journey concludes only when the limited individual recognizes, I am not the relative self, I am the absolute Brahman. This is the meaning of becoming Brahman. From relativity to absoluteness is the journey, where not outside, within. It is not an actual change or transformation, physical, chemical, structural transformation. For the self was never other than Brahman. You doesn't require any transformation. Just he has said, make little adjustment. Brahmarakitavat. Just like the larva has become the beautiful butterfly. You are already a butterfly. Just realize your butterflyness. Rather, it is the removal of the ignorance through knowledge. When this knowledge dawns, the cycle of becoming, what is becoming? Becoming next birth, therefore rebirth comes to an end. You don't believe in rebirth, doesn't matter. Even in this birth, you don't require to pursue anything because you are already full and filled, fulfilled. The third declaration Acharya says is Yad Jnatva na aparam jneyam, teaches that Brahman is the final object of knowledge. First, the self-knowledge brings complete fulfillment or purnatva. There remains no essentially existential incompleteness outside and demands no further object to make you full. That is why there is no other jnaya other than Brahman. Everything else belongs to the realm of uncertainty or relativity or mithya or dependent reality. There is no independent entity outside. Everything is relative. When I say relative, it is not permanent, it is not independent, it is changing and it is transitory, comes and goes, and one substratum is known. Further knowledge of appearances do not add anything to your completeness. That means the purpose of knowledge is not to accumulate things, people, information, degrees, possessions, and all that, but to remove the fundamental ignorance regarding your one's own nature and know that you are already fulfilled. What is, if you say you are fulfilled, you are Brahman. If you say you are still pursuing something, you are not in the realm of Brahman. So the end of the struggle. Commentary highlights that every human struggle is ultimately a search for completeness. External achievements may provide partial satisfaction. They are, of course, required for worldly life. But at some point, these pursuits are futile and then they don't give you the fullness. Intellectual excellence may leave emotional emptiness. Somebody is intellectually a super person, but at home he has got all problems and emotional emptiness. Emotional security, wonderful family, no money, or no fear, no arogya, no health, how much suffering. Material success is there, but there is a problem to resolve the existential anxiety between he and the environment. What sort of fulfillment is that? Every field offers only a limited fulfillment of that field. If you are intellectually progressing, it gives you a fulfillment or somewhat fulfillment in that field, but leaves other fields unfulfilled. But if you aspire and become Atma Jnana, there is nothing else unfulfilled. You are that Brahman. Connection with the previous verse, 53 is Videha Mukti, 54 and 57 explain the nature of the Brahman, which is liberated one abides. So I shall circulate the PDF also. You can read further into that. Now let us look at the next verse. Okay. Before that, let us chant this verse once and then we go to the next verse. What is the verse now? On question now we are discussing. Lakshman, can you chant?
Yes, sir.
Please.
यद्दृष्ट्वा न परं दृश्यं यद्भूत्वा न पुनर्भवः यज्ञात्वा न परं ज्ञेयं तद्ब्रह्मेति अवधारयेत्.
Any 1-2 participants can also try.
Hello, Guru Garu.
Please.
यदृष्ट्वा न परं दृश्यं यद्भूत्वा न पुनर्भवः यज्ञात्वा न परं ज्ञेयं तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्.
Golden words. Next, anyone else? Well, probably we have to open for others. They're not able to open. Okay, now everyone can open. Anyone can open.
Shall I, sir?
Please.
Yadృष्ट्वा न परं दृश्यं यद्भूत्वा न पुनर्भवः यज्ञात्वा न अपरं ज्ञेयं तद्ब्रह्मेति अवधारयेत्.
Beautiful. Avadharayet. Aspirated tha. Okay, next.
Hari Om, sir. Hari Om. ये दृष्ट्वा न अपरं दृश्यं यद्भूत्वा न पुनर्भवः यज्ञात्वा न अपरं तत्ब्रह्मेति अवधारयेत्.
Very good. So we'll go to the
Thank
next
you.
verse. Next time we'll give chance to another 3 or 4 more people who are interested to come forward to sing. Okay, you should practice these things. These are golden sayings, dictums given by Acharya. Now, let us look at the 56th verse. तिर्यग्वूर्धमदः पूर्णं सच्चिदानन्दमद्वयम् अनन्तं नित्यमेकं यत्तद्ब्रह्मेति अवधारयेत् तिर्यक् ऊर्ध्वम् अधः पूर्णं सच्चिदानन्दमद्वयम् अनन्तं नित्यं एकं यत्तद् ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्. The previous 2 verses, he talked about the various objects, things, people, knowledge, experiences, their limitations, and the finitude of them when compared to the infinite absolute Brahman. Now, he is giving us an understanding. Tad Brahma iti avatharayat. That is same. You understand that to be Brahman, you be in that Brahman, you resolve to the Brahman, you be decisive about that. Tad Brahmet avatharayat. What you have to Tad, which is the Tad Brahman? Tiryak, Urtham, Athaha. Tiryak means horizontal, middle level. Urtham, above level. Athaha, below level. If you imagine any plane, there will be several things which are above and several things which are below. But always what you do, you keep comparing, no, I am like this, I am not like that. Or I am so great, this fellow is less than. So the 3 levels of comparison are always there in life. Likewise, in the world also, there is a middle level world, there is a superior level worlds, probably the sky and the galaxies, and there will be probably inferior level worlds. Here, worlds is experiences only. There are no 3 levels of worlds. You have some experience, you have some anubhava, you have some enjoyment. That is somewhat limited, and there are better experiences, urthva. There are inferior people who don't have that much. They are poor, they are not knowledgeable, they are old, they are sick, and you are all right. So always this comparison, relativity is there. But this Satchidanandam Advayam is Purnam. That means it doesn't have this classification of Tiryak Urtham Athaha. Now then what he is saying, it is Tiryak, it is Urtham, it is also Athaha. That means it is the middle level, it is a super level, it is the inferior level also. There are no levels to compare in Brahman because everything it encompasses. That means all pervasive, all inclusive, absolute. What is the inferior, superior? They are relative, isn't it? Inferior is relative to somebody else. Superior is relative to something else. That relativity is lost. When you don't have the relative understanding, then you are the absolute. When you are the absolute, you are the full, in the middle, in the above, this one and poor. Tiryak urtham adha purnam. What is the nature of that? It's not the Satchidanandam is not an attribute. It is not the quality. Like, the color of the skin or height of the person or weight of the person. That can change. Whereas these are the Swarupa of the Brahman is Sat, Chit, Anandam. Okay. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat, absolute existence. Chit, knowledge absolute. Awareness absolute. Ananda, the bliss absolute. This is the Brahman. These are the Swarupa of the Brahman. They are not even the Swabhava of the Brahman. They are the Swarupa of the Brahman. And is there anything else like that? Advayam. There is nothing like that, similar or more. In Gita also it says, there is nothing similar to you, nor higher than you. That is what Satchidanandam Advayam. Then is it in one place? No. Anantam, infinite. Okay, it is there now. It is spread all over in the space. What about time? Will it be there tomorrow? Was it there yesterday? Nityam. There is no time division. Then how many are there? Ekam Advayam. Ekam means there are no differences within itself. Advayam means there is no similar thing like that outside. It is intrinsically and extrinsically unique. That is called Ekam Advayam. Beautiful verse. Tiriyagurthvam Adah Purnam Satchidanandamadvayam Anantam Nityam Ekam Yat. Whatever is that, Brahme Tat Brahmeti Avadharayet. Realize that to be Brahman, which is existence, knowledge, bliss absolute, Sat absolute, Uniki absolute, beingness absolute, knowledge, knowingness absolute. That is the Chit part. Ananda, the bliss absolute. When you say absolute, there is nothing else to compare. When you say something is absolute, then there is nothing else to which you can relate. You cannot relate Brahman to anything else. That because there is no other thing to relate. That's why it is absolute. Okay, Lakshman is existing in Bangalore. His brother is existing in Delhi. Is it existence absolute? No. Lakshman, who is here at this moment, cannot be in Delhi now. His brother, who is in Delhi now, he cannot be here. So whatever existences we have of objects, people, experiences, they are confined to a particular place, a particular name and form, and a particular time. Whereas this absoluteness of the existence, it is not in any one place or not there in other place. It is all pervasive, omnipresent, existence absolute. Then knowledge absolute. This is the one which gives the impetus and power to every relative knowledge. Take sunlight. In sunlight, everything else shines. In Atma light, everything else shines. That is why this is knowledge absolute. There is no relative knowledge. Let's say Dr. Amulya is there. She is a gynecologist. There is another junior doctor. She is not that experienced. It is a relative experience. So she is better experienced. That lady is less experienced. Relative knowledge. Now there is no relativity here because there is no second thing to relate. How do I have a relationship? When there is a second thing, only there is a relationship. When there is no second thing, where is the relationship? Where is the relativity? So this is knowledge or bliss, knowledge absolute. Then Ananda or happiness, so-called happiness, you say, you have a beautiful house. You are living in Chaitanya property. Very nice. Somebody else is living in a hut, unfortunately. But think you are relatively better off. Or somebody else like Dhirubhai Ambani, he is living in a mansion, you are worse off compared to that. Whatever and the ananda you derive, you always compare with your positions. And that positions and the ananda, you depend on some external things for your ananda. And that external thing itself is relative, so the ananda also becomes relative. When you don't depend on the external object or experience or person for your ananda, you are not subject to the relativity of the ananda. That is called the bliss absolute. Don't have a very metaphysical or, unfathomable concept about bliss absolute. Existence absolute, knowledge absolute, bliss absolute, sat, Chit, Ananda. These are not qualities. These are not the adjectives. These are not the Visheshanas. These are not the attributes of Brahman. This is the Swarupa of the Brahman. What is the nature of the Brahman? Non-dual. Is there anything like this? If there is something, this is not absolute existence. So there is no other one. That's why this is absolute existence, absolute knowledge, absolute. So is it, confined to one place? No, it is infinite, all pervasive. Or is it confined to one time? Will it exist only in this period of time? Like, Mahatma Gandhi ji, he existed between this period to this period, and after that, it's not like that. This is eternal. That is not bound by time. Or kalatita transcends time. Non-dual, infinite, eternal. Ekam, nityam, advayam. Okay? And one is, it's only one. What does it do? It fills all quarters, all directions. Tiriyak, urdhvam, athaha. Tiriyak is the middle level, urdhvam is the upper level, and athaha is the lower level. For anything, a relative object will be higher, middle, or lower. But this fills everything. Then where is the question of the relativity here? It pervades everything. Omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. That's what you say in English. Now let us read the verse in this explanation context. Tiryag urdhvam atha purnam satchidanandamadvayam anantam nityam ekam yad brahma tat avatharayet yat tad brahma iti avatharayet. Okay? Tiryak, all sides, urdhvam, above, athaha, below, purnam, all pervading, satchidanandam, existence, consciousness, bliss, absolute. I told you why it is absolute. Then there is nothing other than this, so that cannot be any relativity there. Advayam, non-dual, means there is no second thing like this. Ekam, there is no differences within itself. It is only one single whole. Infinite, anantam, nityam, eternal, yat, that which, tat, that Brahman, you are. Tattvamasi, iti, this way, avatharayet, realize. Okay? What is Brahman? Tiryak urdhvam adah purnam. That which is full at all levels in all directions. Tiryak, one, that is the middle level, at our level, middle level, horizontal level. Tiryak means horizontal. So the word tiryaks, we say, for all animals, they are tiryaks. It means they travel, they walk horizontally. We are verticals, bipeds, whereas they are quadrupeds, they are tiryaks. Tiryak means horizontal. Urdhvam, upper level. Athaha, lower level. This distinction doesn't come because it is everywhere, but which is above and which is below it, it's everywhere. So in short, the idea is that all levels of Brahman means it is Purnam, filling everything. Satchidanandam Advayam. Already we understood these words very deeply. Then this Purnatvam itself is Ananta. In another context, Upanishad says, Satyam Jnanam Anantam, Satchit Anandam. What is the difference between the two? Satchit Anandam, Satchit Anandam, Anantam. One place it says Anandam, the other place it says Anantam. There is a minor difference between the two. But both of them are the absolute, not the attributes, the Swarupa of the Brahman. We discover that Purnatvam in the mind, it is expressed Anand. At an individual level, if you discover the Purnatvam, it's not inventing the Purnatvam. It is already there, discovering the Purnatvam. What Purnatva is already there, it's disclosed, discovered, that Purnatva in the mind, it expresses as the Ananda. So Ananta here is Anantaha eva antahkarana pari. At the level of the antahkaranam, the expression is the Ananda. The inner fulfillment Purnatvam is the Ananda. The Purnatvam in the mind, you can call it as Ananda, or so-called Vyashti, individual. At the individual level, it is called Ananda. Minus the mind, the same Ananda becomes Ananta. Because you are not confining about yourself the Ananda, then you are expanding your concept to the whole. That's what we have seen in Chandogya Upanishad yesterday. You are not an individual, you are one with the universe, with the entire cosmos. And then this Ananda becomes Ananta. When you say Satchanyana Anantam or Satchit Anandam, one and the same, individual level. Ananda and Samashti level or Cosmo level, it is called Ananta. They correspond to Satchidananda at the individual level. Therefore, Advayam, non-dual. Non-duality means there are three things. Difference within itself, difference between things like that, and difference between dissimilar things. I'll tell you. There is a mango tree, there is a lion. These are two different categories. One is a Vriksha Jati, the other is a Jatju Jati. This is called Vijatiya Bheda. Sajatiya Bheda means mango trees there, coconut trees there, jackfruit trees there. They are all Vriksha Jati. There is a difference between them. This is called the Sajatiya Bheda. Vijataya is tree and lion and man. Sajatiya, three different types of fruit trees. You can imagine. This is Sajatiya. Swagata is the mango tree itself has got branches, leaves, stem, roots, flowers. So there are differences within itself. This is called the Swagata Bheda. Swagata, Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Bheda Rahita Tattvam, Ekam, Yeva, Advayam. Ekam means there is no Swagata Bheda. Yeva, there is no Sajatiya Bheda. Advayam, there is no Vijatiya Bheda. Free from all types of differences or differentiations. This can be understood only when we know that the world is relative. So when the world is relative, then there will be Vijatiya, Sajatiya, Swagata, Bhedas will be there. But we are talking about the absolute. In the absolute, where is the question of intrinsic, extrinsic, and compared to other things? These differences do not occur. Then Anantam means Antaha is ending. Anantaha, opposite of ending. There is no Antarahitam, unending, infinite. All these words we have already seen earlier. Anantam indicates Deshataha Aparichinam. That means in the space, in the place, it is not confined to one place. It is inclusive of all the spaces. For example, you and me, we can't be in another place when we are in this place. But Sri Krishna can be there when he is in this place. In all the Gopikas places also he is there. Means what? That description tells he is Ananta. He is all pervasive. That Krishna Tattva which you are seeing in every Gopika made house, he is there. Means what? It is Ananta. In English, Anantam can be taken to mean all pervading. Nityam means time-wise. Eternal, not past, present, and future. It is Anantam and Nityam. Not confined to one space, not confined to one time, not divided or restricted to one time and place, is Anantam and Nityam. You understood Satchit Ananda. You are said the Ekam Advayam, that is Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata Bheda, and also Anantam and Nityam. You understood the difference. Ekam means Vastutaha. As an object, it is not there. But as a tattva, is there a similar tattvam? No. This is aparichinam vastutaha. There is no second thing at all. In fact, this itself is not a thing. We can take this explanation of the Advayam means Anantam, Nityam, Ekam, Deshataha, Kalataha, Vastutaha, Aparichinam. What did we say? Anantam means Deshataha, Aparichinam, Nityam, in terms of time, not confined to one particular time. Ekam, Vastu Rupena, it doesn't have many things, only one. Desha Kala Vastu Aparichinna Tattvam Yat Tad Brahma iti. That is Brahman. You better understand. Okay. 56 continues Adi Shankaracharya's description of the Brahman, the supreme reality, and that has begun in the previous verse. From now onwards, the 4 verses, he will be continuing from 55 onwards. He has started, and it will continue into the 58th verse. Okay. Having established in the verse that Brahman is the ultimate goal of all seeing, all becoming, all knowing, this verse now unfolds the intrinsic nature or Swarupa of the Brahman through a series of profound Vedantic expressions. They are not a very ordinary words there. Satyam is not just speaking truth there. That Satyam is know that to be Brahman, which is all pervading, that is existence absolute. Then all knowing exists, the consciousness absolute. And Ananda means Ananta, non-dual, infinite, eternal, and only one. This is not merely a philosophical definition, but a contemplative vision needed to transform one's understanding of the reality. Brahman is all-pervading, Purnam, Tiryak, Urtham, Athaha. Compare any levels, there are no levels. When something is all-pervasive, you don't confine it to one level. There is no Tiryak, no Urtham, no Athaha for Brahman. That means it fills everything. It is Purna. These directions are not intended to geographically describe Brahman. No, it is not in the middle, it is not above, it is not below, not like that. These are not geographical pointers, but a declaration that, like space, Brahman is universal, that is all-pervasive. The word Purnam, fullness, therefore signifies the all-pervasiveness or omnipresentness of the absolute completeness. Since Brahman is limitless, infinite, nothing can exist outside. If you say draw a boundary and say this is Brahman, there will be something outside. So, infinite will have any boundary. In mathematics, there is no boundary. Infinite means it is not finite. It cannot be put in any particular sphere or any particular restrictions. And there is nothing beyond that. If you add 1 to infinite, what will happen? You cannot add into anything to infinite because it is already infinite. It is infinite only. You subtract something from the infinite. That is also same. Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya. We'll see that verse at some point. Satchitananda, this essential nature of the Brahman. The Sat is pure existence, absolute. Chit is pure consciousness, absolute. And Ananda is not an emotional pleasure. My friends have come from USA. I celebrated, went around in the car and saw every possible, locations. We went and enjoyed. That is transitory, comes and goes. That is happiness. Happiness has got opposite dukkha, sukha and dukkha. Here, ananda, there is no anananda. There is no opposite to ananda. It is happiness, pleasure. It's not emotional pleasure. It is limitless fullness is ananda. When you say in terms of the individual, you call it as ananda. When you say in terms of the cosmos, you call it as ananta. Satyam, jnanam, anantam, satchit, anandam. Both mean the same. It is non-dual. There is no sajatiya bedha. There is no vijatiya bedha. There is no swagata bedha. I have explained you about that. And infinity means freedom from any limitation. Anantam, nityam, purnam, ekam. All these words say there is no limitation whatsoever. Anantam, infinite. Nityam, time-wise, eternal. Ekam, object-wise only one. And Anantam, Nityam, Ekam, Purnam, fullness. This vision of Advaita is the text contrasts Advaita in other Vedic schools. In other Vedic schools, there will be Brahman will be there, one entity. The world will be there, the Jada entity. The consciousness Brahman, they call as Ishvara, and the Jada as the Prakriti are two entities. They always think of duality. These are dualistic schools of thought. But unfortunately, they don't hold water when you analyze with logic. Okay? Brahman into which Jivan Mukta avoids. You are that Brahman. Central teaching of the verse is realize your Brahman. Let us read the verse once again. I'll circulate the PDF. Of course, the video also will be there for you to assist. Tiryagurthvam atha purnam satchidanandamadvayam anantam nityam ekam yat tad brahma iti avadharayet. Now anyone else can try? I will show that. Already it is there. Yeah.
Sir, shall I try, sir?
Yeah, please.
Atiriya urdhvam adah purnam satchidanandam advayam anantam nityam ekam yat brahmeti avadharayet.
Yat tat brahmeti. Yat tat. Whatever is that, that is Brahma.
Yat tat
Brahmeti avadharayet.
Brahmeti avadharayet.
Brahma iti avadharayet. Okay. Next, anybody else?
Tiryagurdhamadah purnam satchidanandamadvayam anantam nityam ekam yaddad brahmeti avadharayet.
Beautiful. Anyway, even those who have read earlier also can read. There is no restriction here.
तिर्यगोर्ध्वमदः पूर्णं सच्चिदानन्दमद्वयम् अनन्तं नित्यमेकं यत् तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्.
Correct. Perfect split. Yat. After that, tat. Correct.
Can I try, sir?
Please, please.
Tiryagurdhvam adha purnam satchidanandam advayam anantam nityam ekam yattat brahmeti avadharayet.
Beautiful.
I want to try, sir.
Please, Chaitanya.
Tiryak urdhvam adah purnam satchidanandam advayam anantam nityam ekam yattat brahmeti avadharayet.
Yes. Nagaratnam.
Namaste, sir.
Cheppandi.
Tiryagurdhvam adah purnam satchidanandamadvayam anantam nityam ekam yattad brahma iti avadharayet.
Correct. Amoja.
Tiryagurdhvam adah purnam satchidanandamadvayam anantam nityamekam yat tat brahmeti avadharayet.
Correct. You understood, no? Tiryak ortham atah. Atah means what?
Yes, sir.
Tiryak means middle level. Ortham means upper level. Ataha means lower level. There are no levels here. There is no relativity here. Because it is Purnam. When it is fulfilling everything, when it is completely occupying everything, then where is the question of Tiryak ortham atah? You have to call it as Atma, Purnam.
Yes, sir. So it is an absolute. There's no relative. You cannot confine to any three levels or any level.
Everything you think of in the world is relative. You are tall relative to somebody. You are beautiful relative to somebody. You are old relative to somebody. You are educated relative to somebody. You have children relative to somebody. You are related to someone relative to the other person. Everything is relative.
Relative.
And whatever is relative, we call it as mithya. In Vedanta, I have not introduced the mithya too much here because relative means mithya. Because relative doesn't stand on its own. It requires another thing to relate. It doesn't have an independent existence. And relative things always change. What is big now becomes bigger or smaller when you bring something else. So it changes and it comes and goes. So for these reasons, relativity can never be absolute. But you are that Brahman, which is the absolute. Then why crave for the relativity? Relative things.
Sir, I
Tell
would
me.
like to chant 55 occurs. Please display
Please.
after.
I will go to 55 slide. You can chant that also.
यद् दृष्ट्वा नापरं दृश्यं यद् भूत्वा न पुनर्भवः यत् ज्ञातं नापरं ज्ञेयं तत् ब्रह्मेति अवधारयेत्.
Okay. Anyone else?
यद्दृष्ट्वा नापरं दृश्यं यद् यद्
Yad bhutva na punah bhava.
यद्भूत्वा न अपरं भूतु భవః
యద్భూత్వా న పునర్భవః.
సారీ సార్ నేను సరిగా ఫాలో అవ్వలేదు కళ్ళ చుట్టు పెట్టుకోక
అది మళ్ళీ చదువుతాను వినండి. ప్లీజ్ లిసన్.
చదువుతాను సార్
యదృష్ట్వా నాపరం దృశ్యం యద్భూత్వా న పునర్భవః యజ్ఞాత్వా నాపరం జ్ఞేయం తద్బ్రహ్మేతి అవధారయేత్.
యదృష్ట్వా నాపరం దృశ్యం యద్భూత్వా న పునర్భవః యజ్ఞాత్వా నాపరం జ్ఞేయం తద్బ్రహ్మేత్యవధారయేత్.
I told you know what is about bhava. You are always thinking to become something. Okay, I am unmarried. I want to become married. Then I am married. I want to become father. Then from father to householder. Then I have to become grandfather. Like that, always becoming. I am fifth class. I'll become 10th class. Then I'll become 15th class. Then 20th class. Then PhD, something. Always becoming only. You are never trying to be in the being. You are always in pursuit of becoming. That becoming is always a relative and there is no end. That will never be fulfilling you. So if you are already understanding you are the being, you are fulfilled, fully filled. There is no punarbhava. There is no becoming once again. It can be rebirth or it can be becoming in the life. Anyway, you can be.
यद्दृष्ट्वा नापरं दृश्यं यद्भूत्वा न पुनर्भवः यज्ञात्वा नापरं ज्ञेयं तद्ब्रह्मेति अवधारयेत्.
Next one.
क्रियाग् ऊर्ध्वम् अधः पूर्णं सच्चिदानन्दम् अद्वयम् अनन्तं नित्यम् एकं यत्तद्ब्रह्मेति अवधारयेत्.
Good. Meena Kumari.
यद्दृष्ट्वा नापरं दृश्यं यद्भूत्वा न पुनर्भवः यज्ञात्वा नापरं ज्ञेयं तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्. तिर्यगोध्वमदः पूर्णं सच्चिदानन्दम् अद्वयम् अनन्तं नित्यम् एकं यत् तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्.
Very good.
ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहैः. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.